Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Alliance Group podcast. We have a really awesome episode today. We have two awesome guys from American National. You might know them as ANICO. We've got Dominic Etienne, who is the pension sales consultant at American National. And, of course, you guys all know Michael Hardin. He's our national sales manager. He is our friend at Alliance Group. We actually just finished, guys, a really awesome advanced training camp, the 2022 advanced training camp. And Dominic and Michael, you guys were featured basically all day in day two. What we wanted to talk about today and what I wanted to get on the podcast for all of our viewers to see was the subject matter of the first part of today, where we really focused on pensions and how life insurance agents at Alliance Group with just their life insurance licenses have the ability, and I don't think a lot of agents realize this, to help every business owner that they know set up retirement plans for themselves and for their employees. So, Dominic, we were kind of talking about this. We were in the room kind of preparing for the podcast, and I was like, well, what types of business owners would this be a good conversation to have about setting up retirement plans? Right.
And you were trying to be specific in the sense identifying, is there a certain type of business owner that I should approach? Mm-hmm. Does this make sense for one business owner compared to another? Mm-hmm. Only thing I tried to relay is there is not a small business owner out there that cannot utilize a retirement plan to some degree.
Or possibly use one, right?
Right. It could be a sole proprietor. It could be an employer with a certain number of employees. Mm-hmm. It could be a business that already has a retirement plan in place.
Right.
We still have options that they can utilize and benefits that we can provide them, whether that's from a plan review standpoint or exploring new plan opportunities.
Right.
And if they try to give you a little pushback there are so many different benefits that the plans provide. Whether that is the retirement benefit itself, retirement savings, retirement income, whether that's expanding on what the employer offers from an employee benefit package as well.
Right.
A low-cost way to improve what you're offering, especially in a competitive job market that we find ourselves in.
Which we definitely have right now. So even, whether that's making sure that you retain employees that are important to you, because
Absolutely.
right now if you have talent on your payroll, people are searching for that talent, right? More important than ever for you to have not just a retirement plan, but a competitive retirement plan.
And as I'm talking to business owners, when working with y'all's agents and all this and hearing the business owners talk, with today's job market the way it is, one of the guys was telling me the other day, when he gets applicants in, one of the first things he looks at is, are they already employed? Mm-hmm. Now, it's kind of scary to think about this if you're his competition. He says, because if you're not employed right now, why?
Right.
Do you not want to work? Are you only applying because you have to have the money? Or did you recently get fired, and why? Right. So he really asked that question of, why don't you already have a job? So he said more often than not, when he's looking for talent, for an asset to bring into his business, and employers have changed their mindset with that. They're no longer just needed as employees, but they're becoming assets, talent, like you said.
Right. Yeah.
He goes and looks at the competition because those people have the job. They're keeping the job. So he knows they are viable to bring into his business. So everyone in his competition, they're his target.
Absolutely. And it's not just as you were kind of alluding to there, it's not just retaining your current employees that are very important to your business and that make it go. It's also attracting talent. If your business is growing, you need to bring more quality talent in. You can't attract talent these days. It's becoming harder and harder to attract talent if you don't have, again, not only a retirement package to offer, but a competitive one.
I mean, employees these days are like buyers.
Yep.
They're comparing all options that they have, at their disposal.
Yep.
Right? And they want to make sure that they're maximizing every opportunity that comes their way.
Yep.
And kind of across to this. So it's not just, like you said, retaining. It's obtaining employees also.
Yeah.
There was I forget who it was. I'm always bad about knowing who the studies come from, but I saw something the other day that said salary alone was not the number one determining factor in everybody's minds. It's the quality of the workplace. It's the benefits package.
Right.
Right. They'll sacrifice a little bit on the salary part to like where they're going and to have those other features and benefits now from their employer. Yep.
Right. So as far as these options that are available for agents to help business owners set up for themselves and their employees, you've got the 401k, you've got safe harbor, you got profit sharing plans, you have, and then defined benefit plans, which there are several. Right. As far as an agent that's wanting to have a conversation, kind of backing up for a second with a business owner, what are some of those things that you can say to a business owner to kind of get the conversation started?
Kind of get the conversation going, kind of break the ice, so to speak. There's a couple big factors and big reasons that employers establish them. Number one, tax deductions, right? And the tax benefits that the plans provide that we offer.
Absolutely. It isn't all, it isn't all, completely with the word I'm looking for. I'm not going to find it, but it isn't out of the goodness of their heart.
No,
all the time, right?
It's not
because they love you.
Right?
right.
Might be a little bit of that, but also they are looking at how is this going to benefit me?
Absolutely. I'm not going to call it ulterior motives, but they want to be able to provide themselves with a significant benefit if they're taking on that commitment of providing that benefit as well. Because they're taking on a cost.
Absolutely.
And they're taking on a fiduciary responsibility at the same time. So they want to know that they're getting something out of it. Is it worth their while?
Right.
I mean, these days people like to use in different aspects of life ROI. They want to get a nice return on their investment in this. Right?
Which is really interesting because you are getting kind of that's a dual benefit that they're getting. Not only are you able to retain employees and make them love you and give them all those good warm fuzzies about this this business owner, this guy that I work for really cares about my future and my family's future, but you're also on the other hand getting these benefits for yourself, the business owner, which is something that we absolutely should be pointing to.
There's the optics of the plan,
right?
What that customer from the outside of the window sees, that employee, and then there's the nuts and bolts behind the plan. Yep. What really is occurring behind the curtain, right? And so what we try to do from a design standpoint is we understand who that decision maker ultimately is. So if we want to reach the employees, we have to first make sure that we make a hard sell and a hard case to that actual business owner, whoever they consider important as well, and make sure that the plans look as enticing and incentivizing as possible to them. So we try to create plans that favor those business owners.
So use an example of just maybe the simplest example that can come to your mind about for those of our viewers who might not understand, well, how is it, what are these tax advantages? I don't understand. So a business owner prior to having set up a retirement plan for his employees had X situation, but since he set it up, he was able to save Y in taxes. Like, give me a really simple example of how that would work.
Let's just take a simple small employer of 5 employees and an owner.
Okay.
Right? You have an owner. Let's say their annual taxable kind of profitability income is about $200,000.
Okay.
Right? You have 5 employees. Those 5 employees, that business owner has decided, hey, I want to give them each $5,000, right, regardless of what their salary is, as a employer contribution, right? So that is a tax deductible contribution that's going into their retirement savings account.
Okay. So $25,000.
$25,000 total.
Okay.
But there are situations where we can utilize some of our plan designs, and we may be able to provide that employer, that owner, with an opportunity to give himself $50,000 on top of it. Right? So what we've just created there is an opportunity for $75,000 cumulative combined to be saved away, right, into the applicable retirement savings accounts.
Yep.
$50,000 of that is being retained by the owner. 2/3 of the contribution that goes in, right, being retained by the one owner, and $75,000 is the pure tax deduction that the business receives as a result of it. Right. So instead of that owner paying $200,000 on taxes that year, they're paying taxes on $125,000.
Yep.
And $75,000 is going into the plan. $50,000 is being retained by him.
So you could make the argument that by itself was worth doing the plan, but then you've got all those other benefits that we talked about: the stickiness of the employees, the attracting others with this great retirement plan that you're providing, the warm fuzzies of the employees. This guy is doing this for us, which is great.
Yep. You were talking earlier about who they're good for, who they're which companies to work for, and all this. One of the questions I use with the business owners and with agents to ask folks they know, so it's a more comfortable questions like, did you write out a check to the IRS this year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if they nod yes, how much of that would you rather put in your pocket?
Yeah, I mean, in that situation,
tell me more.
And then let's get some numbers and let's look at what we can do. Right.
All right.
Yeah. Right. In that particular scenario, it may be costing them money by not executing a plan at the end of the day.
And let's be honest. There's yes, lots of business owners are financially savvy and they know things about. There's a lot of business owners out there that are not savvy at all, especially when it comes to things like taxes and some of these strategies that we're talking about. So sometimes the most effective kind of conversation opener is exactly with something like what Michael just said, like, how much was your tax bill? I guarantee no matter how financially savvy or not they are, they're going to know what that check they wrote last year. I know exactly what my check was last year that I wrote.
Absolutely.
Right?
And sometimes the smartest people in the world are the ones that are willing to admit, I don't know this.
Yep.
Right? But you know what I do know? I need to find someone who does.
Exactly.
and Dominic mentioned it earlier. CPAs don't know as much as we all give them credit for knowing all, so to speak.
Right.
CPAs don't know about retirement plans.
Right.
They know where to put it on your tax return. They specialize in that. But as far as designing a plan or knowing which plan's best or even recommending one like that, a lot of times they don't even know what to do with it. Yep.
And I will give them credit. Like, they can identify a problem. They know that deductions are needed, right? They know that a retirement plan can offer them, but they don't know exactly which type of retirement plan can really maximize what's best for that particular situation.
And that's what your team does.
And that's what we do.
Yeah, and that's a good referral center, finding that CPA that knows they need something, and then you provide that for them, yeah.
So if agents can get comfortable with having this conversation with literally, as Dominic was saying, every business owner that you know.
Every single business.
If they wrote out a check.
A retirement plan.
Needs a retirement plan. Even if it's a one person, which
plan?
many of our viewers are that person. They are a life insurance agent that works for themselves, and they are a solopreneur. So they're the only employee in their company. Even they.
One of the top money earning agents at my old agency was lived in California, so federal and state just choking on taxes, right? And like we were talking earlier, a high revenue business can be low deductions in this. There's not a lot of expense in being in the insurance business,
right?
So she was paying tax on $800,000 profit.
Wow,
state and federal. Right, and so one of the largest 412s we put in place was for this young lady. She was putting away $143,000 a year. And taking it right off the top of her taxes.
Exactly. It goes as an expense on her Schedule C. And so that's a pure deduction on that Schedule C. And so when that income passes to the 1040, it reduces her income, her taxable income, by that contribution that she made to that 412E plan.
Her tax savings was $53,000.
Wow. Wow. So
that's significant.
That is significant. That is significant.
That is significant.
Even the people who aren't financially savvy know that is significant.
That's not a small chunk of change.
I think we can all appreciate that amount. Yeah.
So if agents can get comfortable again with this conversation, ANICO, you guys have tools that can that an agent can refer to help them have these conversations or learn how to have these conversations, right?
Yep.
And what I failed to kind of focus on initially, and the question is kind of what provoked the response, is that with American National, we've developed a product that, as an insurance agent, in order for you to actually be the agent of record and sell this platform, sell all of these different plans that we offer, all you need is a life or annuities license in the state that your client is located or domiciled in.
Which we all are used to anyway, because that's what you have to sell a life insurance policy.
Exactly.
So that was going to be one of my questions now for you, Dom. So we're sitting here at Alliance Group. Yeah. Alliance Group is an insurance agency.
Right.
And we're talking about retirement plans, 401ks, different things like that. And I'm sure everybody out there is going, well, how am I going to do that? I don't have a securities license. Right. And you just brought that up. So how does that work?
There was a specific caveat in the Securities Act of 1936.
So the original one.
The original one that came out. Yes, this has been around that long. That's stipulated, right? If you have an insurance product, and that insurance product is sold exclusively, meaning only to trustees of qualified retirement plans, that insurance product itself didn't have to be registered with the Securities Exchange Commission, right? This product falls into that category. And since the product itself doesn't have to be registered, the insurance agent selling it doesn't need to be registered either.
Wow. So wait, what is this product?
This product, it is a variable annuity. Just the name itself gives consternation. It makes you think, I got to be RIA, or I got to be securities licensed in order to sell this bad boy. But it's a non-registered variable annuity. Means that we've gone to all 50, but New York's a little bit different.
Right. Yeah.
Right? New York's different. New York's different, and also Connecticut and Massachusetts. But the other 47 states have approved the product as submitted.
As a group.
Meaning, as a group. Meaning you do not have to be securities licensed in those 47 states in order to be the agent of record and the agent on the contract for this particular product. Now, Connecticut and Massachusetts, they allow it to be sold. You can't sell it at all in New York. But in Connecticut and Mass, you still do have to be an RIA. You have to be securities licensed to sell it in those two.
So you're saying that any of the folks we're talking to, right, can do this with us without that securities license?
No additional requirements needed.
Right.
If you can sell life, you can sell annuities, you can sell retirement plans.
So if they find a client, what do they do next? If they find somebody that wants to see what their numbers look like or what the possibilities are, what do they do next?
We try to keep it as simple as possible for you.
Yeah, let's do that.
Right? All you need to do, gather information. We have a fact finder to kind of guide you in that information that we need.
Right. Gather all the information about the individual, the business owner, the business, the employees.
Right. And what we're talking about how's a corporation taxed, right? Do they own any additional businesses, right? What are they looking to spend in the plan? Like, what's their budget, right? What's their cash flow? What's their income like? Is it consistent, or does it vary by year to year, right? And then we want to know, okay, you're establishing a plan. What's the most important priority, right? Are you looking to maximize the tax deduction? Are you using it for those employee benefit reasons, retention, or obtaining new employees?
Yep.
Do you want to favor key employees yourself? Do you want to be able to put in as little or as much as you can for you and your employees, right? Let us know what you're prioritizing. Do you have a specific plan type in mind? All of those.
And again, this is all on the fact finder.
This is all
you
on
don't
the
have
fact
to think
finder.
about
You don't
this.
have
This
to
is the cover
create
letter you're
this.
writing,
You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
We provide you a form, and you just simply regurgitate the information.
Just fill in the blank.
Recite it, provide it over to us. But most importantly, we want a census. We want to see who that employer is from a demographic standpoint. How many employees they have, how long they've been there, how old they are, some estimation of how much they make on an annual basis, and who owns the business. Anybody related to them. But again, we kind of guide you through
there's
what we're looking for.
Fact finder that you have to fill out and you send in to your team at ANICO. And then what do you guys do with that information? Again, and the thing I want to underline to agents here is because some agents out there might be like, dude, this is a lot I have to learn. I have to know every little detail about how a 401k works as opposed to a safe harbor and defined benefit plans and the different types and the 412E3s and the cash balance. And you don't necessarily have to know all of this. You have a team behind you that can help you. Once they have this fact finder, you guys take that information and then you actually do the work of figuring out what is best for this business and making that recommendation.
We want to find which plan type fits that client's needs and objectives, demographics the best, right? Kind of comparing it to a normal insurance or life sale, we expect that client to be with us for in perpetuity.
Right.
Right?
I mean,
and so for that client,
these plans kind of go into place and they stay there the entire time.
Stay there the entire time. Yeah. So we got to make sure that up front we're taking care of what the client needs.
Right.
You know? So from that standpoint, we don't want you to be or feel like you have to be an expert. Because sometimes that may lead you to promising something that we may not be able to deliver on the back end.
Right.
If you promise the client a cash balance plan and we get the information, we assess and we determine they are a safe harbor client.
Cash balance plan.
Right. We're going to provide you with the cash balance illustration because you asked for it.
Right.
We're also going to give you the safe harbor illustration and tell you why that's a better fit.
Which is exactly what I, as an agent, want you to do.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Check my work, and if I'm wrong, please let me know so that I can, make the right recommendation to the client.
And what that's done though is that's created maybe a little tougher of a road for us to travel, simply because now we have to kind of take that client off of the expectation of the cash balance, bring them down off that horse, and then put them on the little pony on the side.
So you would rather?
I wouldn't say it that way. Safe harbor is not really a little pony now, right?
It's not the little pony necessarily, but
in the business owner's
if
mind,
they had these illusions of grandeur,
So basically, what you're getting at here is you actually prefer, and your team prefers, don't try to go down any particular road ahead of time. Right. Make sure that they see the value and that they're interested in setting up a retirement plan of some sort. Or even if they already have one, maybe just taking a look at something that might work better for their business. Right. And then just getting the information and getting it to you guys so that you can make the right recommendation. And from that point, and this is what I think is really important for agents to understand, from that point, you guys really do take the reins and help the agent make this thing happen. They are supported. They will never have a time where they're twisting in the wind. You guys are on it and helping them every step of the way. As you described it, Dom, you were saying either we can be on the actual quote unquote sales call. Once we have the recommendation, we can be on that call with you, or we can coach you up on how to have that conversation on your own. Correct?
Yeah. As I like to say, we will be as involved as you want us to be. Mm-hmm. Whether that kind of entails us coaching you up until you feel comfortable and confident to make that presentation and that pitch yourself, absolutely, we'll get you to that point.
Right.
But if you want to bring us along for the ride, we are more than willing to take that ride with you.
Right. Now, the one thing that we kind of talked about earlier, Michael, you were telling the story of a client that was like, well, they didn't just take it from there and just enroll everybody and all that stuff for me. I have to actually sit down and enroll every one of these employees.
He sure said that to me. I couldn't believe it.
Why was that so unbelievable to you?
Well, once an employer says yes to, I'm still dumbfounded by it, right? Once an employer says yes to the plan, you have access to all the employees. You get to sit down with everybody the company has and explain what the employer just did, plus have all those conversations you guys know how to have anyway. So Dominic, how long you been here with this company?
6.5 years.
6.5 years. First place you ever worked?
Nope.
Where'd you work before?
Charles Schwab.
Okay. So did you have 401k back at Charlie Schwab?
Absolutely.
There you go, right? So you get to have all those conversations, right? Married, how the kids, what's age of the kids, do you have college funding in place? All those
life
things.
Insurance in place.
Right, all those things you guys already do.
Benefits.
Right? As you're signing these people up, right? Yep. And so the 401ks or the pension plans, right, when, like Dominic said, those are in place 10, 20, 30 years, right? So you do a handful of these a year, and that's an income base for you every single year as that's coming in, plus all the other stuff you find.
That actually spawn off of it.
Yeah.
Which is really what you see. The agents, we were talking, before we started rolling on the podcast, is, you said the first case is always kind of, that's the learning experience. Agents aren't really sure how is this going to go, but what you tend to see is that once somebody gets a case through and works with you and your team and gets people enrolled and gets a plan set up and rolling, they're back for more.
You'll be surprised how many life, career, annuity, and life agents, once they sell 2 or 3 retirement plans, tell us, I'm only doing this from this point on.
Because
I'm serious.
Because
that's awesome.
What it can actually serve as is, yes, of course, you are getting paid commissions, and that, as we kind of just talked about, it does kind of, you don't get that big lump sum up front like we are sometimes used to when it comes to, selling a life insurance policy. You get that big commission up front and then little tiny, commissions after that. This is more of a steady stream that happens every single year. You
single year.
Build almost like a quote unquote salary, like you're like building this base throughout the years. As far as strictly the commissions from setting up the retirement plans go, however, what we were just discussing is, I think the more valuable part is this is almost like an amazing prospecting system, because you just got 50, let's say an employer has 50 employees, you're sitting down with 50 new prospects and talking to them about money, their family, their retirement plans, their life insurance, their annuity, all this stuff.
Well, what other opportunity is going to get you the chance to sit in front of a room of 50 individuals in one shot?
Yeah.
Well, and probably not quite half, but half of all the meetings we do, half of winter summit. We were talking about the MGA meeting. All these things were focused around, and I don't know, roughly not quite half your agencies now, they buy leads for the mortgage protection, to find somebody to talk to.
One person.
Just one person, right? And you take this.
It's not even a person, it's a phone number you have to call. And then you hopefully get a person.
Hopefully they answer, right?
Right.
This is baked right in, right? The number one thing we do in this business is to prospect, to find people to talk to.
Right.
Right. So with all that you guys said earlier with the employment the way it is, the savers programs, the way those are coming out, any of these things, you have maybe the best opportunity in the world to just go out and go, hey, did you know this is going on? Did you know this? Did you know this? How is this? And it turns into whatever it turns into. You got a reason to talk to somebody.
Not to mention the very first time that these people are meeting you, they're sitting down at work probably, right? And you're there, and you are here as someone who's representing the entire company's pension plan, right? Yeah. So you already have credibility, huge. As this guy obviously knows what he's doing, when it comes to money. So when you start talking to them about things that they can do in their personal lives, you already have that kind of built-in credibility.
You got that leg up already. Yep.
It's called trust.
Yeah.
You have their trust.
Yep.
You've provided them with a benefit that they value. If there are any additional needs from that point forward, they're going to at least give you a try.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So once you get this plan set up, right? What happens from there? Like once everyone's enrolled and the plan's going, the way that I kind of understood it is you're
done.
You guys are going to handle everything from there as far as the administration of these plans going forward. And you can,
as
you said, go find the next one.
Absolutely. We want you as agents at that point to be free of responsibilities. And we want you to be able to go out there and access and attack additional clients.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we take on the full administration of the plan. We connect directly with the employer, and we are their full service third party administrator, just like you'd have a health entity handle the health plan. We come on board and we provide that same level of service, but just from the retirement plan standpoint. So anything that the client has to handle on a regular basis, we assign an account rep so that they have a direct point of contact and point of reference to address any needs that plan may have during its existence.
So you're telling me, and I work here, so hang on a second. So you're telling me that all an agent has to do is call just American National?
If I make it real simple, agent broaches the topic with client, gets information from client, provides that to American National. We present it to client. Client decides to move forward. Agent then rolls out plan to the employees, becomes face of plan. Everything back office then gets removed and handled by American National. Agents' responsibilities are pretty much done at that point.
But it's all American National. They don't have to call this place over here or this place over here or that place over there. None of that. They just call us.
One-stop shop with one simple telephone exchange.
You guys are doing great. This is like an infomercial's broken out. Wait a second. But there's more.
It's only $19.99.
6 easy payments of $19.99.
But that is the beauty of these retirement plans. Like I said earlier, it's almost like the gift that just keeps on giving.
Absolutely.
The more you peel away the onion, you'll be surprised at how beautiful the layers get as you go deeper into it.
Yeah, and the important thing is, of course, is that you're helping people. You're helping business owners. You're helping their employees. You're helping these business owners grow their business, retain their key employees, attract new talent into the organization, and of course, you're doing well by them and doing well for yourself in doing so.
Well, and we do this all the time here, especially with you guys being the living benefits agency, right? We sell the IUL because of the tax-free retirement account and the living benefits in it, right?
Yeah.
Well, personally now, I don't know that there could be a better designed product for everyday Americans than that product. It covers almost everything that they need, right? And obviously for W-2 folks, right? Now, business owners, you want to lap this in because business owners can still work with the IULs. Their family can still have the IULs. They can do the college planning. They can do all that. Business owners have, Dominic said earlier, you got a whole Schedule C that a W-2 person doesn't even have to work with. And so you can use all of these. Even if we believe taxes are going to go up in the future, I know we all believe that, and we sell that way, that's still going to be more money than if they save nothing and give it to the IRS for a business owner. So these all go hand in hand and round and just complete the circle. Yeah.
What are some other, other advantages to going through ANICO for something like this than a business owner might have for some of those bigger names out there that do 401ks? As far as fees go, as far as things like that.
Right. What kind of our bundle package and kind of what separates us from some of our competitors out there, first and foremost, is client experience, where we actually assign that account representative to really be that day-to-day contact for that employer to kind of reach out to. That separates us from those payroll companies They don't want to have any interaction. They want that plan to be able to be automated so easily that they don't have to have that interaction on a regular basis with anyone on the outside.
Which really cuts into the design.
Right. And, we kind of talked about the framework of the designs are kind of rigid, but those pictures can be customized and can be delicate and can be utilized to create, something beautiful for the client as well. And that's where the customization comes into play. Right. ADP may not be able to create that disparity that I was talking about earlier with those contributions because they don't want to have to make that calculation on an annual basis. Right. That actually takes some analysis that someone has to go in and actually assess. And we do that though. And we want to take on that service, but we provide that at a very cost-effective, fee standpoint, and that's really what separates us from our competitive in this specific market, right? Because as Michael was alluding to, if they don't have a paychecks, right, or they don't have an ADP, and they have kind of a separation of responsibilities where they have like a CPA handling one component of the plan. They may have a record keeper, someone doing like the actual testing of the plan and the assets somewhere else. Not only from an experience standpoint to get anything done, you got to call 3 different entities. Right? But what you also have to do since they're performing work for you? You got to pay them. That adds up after a while. We take care of all of that, right? In-house with one communication, right? And for one low cost across the board.
And you were mentioning the investment.
So we do it cheaper and we do it better and we do it easier. And a lot of our components.
You were mentioning the investment choices earlier too. I didn't know that about how limited the other places were.
Yeah. Like if you're dealing with these state-run plans, they may have 4 or 5 investment options for those employees to invest those dollars in. You get to those payroll providers, they're going to have anywhere between 15 and 20. You get to some of those known TPAs like a Merrill Lynch, Charles Schwab, Fidelity on this scale. They're probably going to offer 20 to 25 of their proprietary funds.
The proprietary funds.
Yeah. Proprietary funds for the most part. We have 6 fund managers that provide us with a total of 54 investment options for our clients' employees to utilize to invest those dollars. And we also offer them an online investment management service called Morningstar. And I mentioned I worked for Charles Schwab. When I worked for Charles Schwab, we also offered our clients Morningstar.
Right, that's awesome.
Right, exactly.
So there are some really interesting opportunities coming up with talking to business owners, especially beginning of this past year, and it's continuing this year. You're starting to see those. We just made mention about them. Those kind of those plans where states are requiring employees or businesses with a minimum amount of employees. They are requiring them to provide a plan, and if they don't, then they're going to get automatically opted into these state-run plans, right?
State plans, right? So, in some states, it doesn't even matter what size you are. Maryland's rule is if you use a payroll service, they don't even define what it is. So it doesn't have to be an ADP or a Paychex or something outside of your company. There is no definition, so we're kind of going with the conservative definition of that. Right. If you pay somebody, you have to opt in to their plan.
Wow. So this is for those people. That's fish in a barrel, right?
What's fish in a barrel, right? They don't know what's coming. The states, I don't know what California did, but now Maryland, I know Virginia, there's one coming to Colorado soon, right? They're not advertising it. They're not telling the business owners. In fact, when we were talking about Denise Aaron earlier, there's California business owners that still don't know that this has happened. They still don't know they've missed deadlines and that they owe California money for each employee.
Wow.
They just haven't told them, or like we were talking earlier, the business owners always got their head down running their business.
Absolutely.
They don't look up to know any of this. Yeah. So it's a great opportunity to go, hey, did you know this was happening?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Which is understandable. They're a small business owner to begin with. Lord knows what they have on their plate.
Yeah, right.
And it's up to us, as industry experts, to kind of provide them with that education.
Absolutely.
And information. And trust me, they'll appreciate it.
Yes, they absolutely
will. They definitely will. Yep.
Well, listen, thank you so much, guys. It's been an awesome conversation. For those of you who did not catch the 2022 Advanced Markets training that we did, we just wrapped it up literally a couple hours ago. Not sure when you guys might be watching this. You can find it on the Alliance Group Agent Portal. Again, Dominic and Michael did an amazing job all day in day 2, going into more depth about this topic that we just covered as far as pensions and setting up retirement plans for business owners, but much more as well, getting into 412(e)(3) plans and things like that. So check that out on the Alliance Group Agent portal on the Alliance Academy. And Dom, Michael, thank you so much for having us or for being here.
Thank you, Sam.
Appreciate it.
so
pleasure.
much.
Always good to have you.
And this guy had a key role. He kept us on schedule the entire time.
Absolutely.
Today.
Right.
Yes.
I mean,
it was our comic relief. At
someone
points,
has to keep these guys in order for sure. Thank you guys so much again.
Thanks much, Sam.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Appreciate you.
Listen to this interview and more on the Alliance Group podcast.